Oprah Winfrey is North America's first black billionaire and is considered by many to be the most influential woman in the world. She went from being born into poverty in rural Mississippi to a single teenage mother to now being worth $2.7 billion. And today we're going to learn her best advice on why you shouldn't compare yourself to others. Rise and shine, it's espresso time!
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and every morning I bring you a shot of espresso to help you believe in yourself more and start your day with confidence. So good morning. I believe in you, and let's do this. Oprah Winfrey, tell us your thoughts on comparing ourselves to others.
That show was on for 25 years in Chicago, and when you did it, you won, I think, almost 50 Emmy Awards, and it was voted one of the best TV shows in the history of TV. So you ended it, though, after 25 years to do other things, and we'll talk about that, but you no regrets about ending that show.
No regrets whatsoever. You know, I didn't want to be punch drunk in the ring, still trying to come up with what is the next thing, because over the years, we became our own greatest competition. So when I first started, went national in 1986, every time there'd be another talk show, I'd be, oh, Geraldo Rivera, oh, what are we going to do? And then I realized a couple of years in that you run your own race better than anybody. If you take the time to see what everybody else is doing, you lose your ground. And that I could be a better me than I could be anybody else. And so no need of trying to compare myself to other people.
I think comparing yourself to others is actually a great thing. Most people just do it wrong. Most people compare themselves to others and then immediately think, I suck. I'm never gonna get this. I compare myself to others and I think, that's what's possible. Let's get to work. You need a kick. The comparison is the kick. Most people just kick themselves down instead of kicking themselves forward. But without the kick, without the push, you just stay where you are. Kick yourself forward, not down. I look at Oprah Winfrey and it's easy to get insecure. Here is somebody who is maybe the greatest interviewer of all time. You look at how she does interviews, how she gets people to open up, how she makes a connection so instantaneously with people. That's been honed. It's a honed craft that she's done over decades. But as me, as someone who does interviews, both as being an interviewee and an interviewer, I look at Oprah as the best the game has got, as the highest of the high. But you can also look at Oprah as an entrepreneur and the business that she built and becoming the first black billionaire in North America. You can look at the influence that she's built. You can look at the business model that she's built of how she brought up people like Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil underneath her and the models. There's a lot that you can learn. People sleep on Oprah as an entrepreneur. They just see the media personality. There's a lot that you can learn from Oprah that I'm a huge fan of. I would love to have Oprah on the channel and dive into her entrepreneurial success. And so looking at Oprah, it's easy to feel insecure. It's easy to feel like, man, I can never do that. I'm not talented enough to do that. I don't have the training to do that. I'm trying to do an interview show and I'm never going to be like Oprah Winfrey. Instead, though, I see Oprah and say, that's possible. Like, look, what did Oprah come from? Look at where she came from. What resources did she have when she's nothing? I have way more resources available to me than she did when she was getting started. Or when she did when she's halfway through her career. And so I look at that comparison. It's why I do all the people on my channel. It's why I make all these different channels and all these different videos, because I want to constantly be around Oprah and Steve Jobs and A.P. Giannini, you know, and my parents and Howard and Kanye. How these people who've done a lot more than me, who I respect for certain things that they did in their career or their life, who are better than me at those things. And the comparison isn't, I suck. I'm never going to be a visionary like Steve Jobs. And every time I look at a video from him, I feel worse about myself. I'm not sitting here in my office. My computers are right here. I'm not sitting here in my office with Steve Jobs staring me down. And that's a look of inferiority and me feeling like I'm an imposter. It's a feeling of Steve Jobs did it. I can do it too. Let's go. And that comparison, I think, is great. Because I think if all you're doing is comparing yourself to yourself, I think it's really hard to get motivated. I think it can be really hard to say, well, I did this much, And so here I'm now getting a little bit further ahead. I think that's hard. I think it's definitely part of it. Ultimately, yes, you are your biggest competition. But to learn different things from different people and say, that's what's possible. I want to go off and chase that down too. I think is incredibly important. As long as you're using it as positive momentum forward, again, and not that kick down to feeling like you suck, that you can't do it, and you're not capable. So how do you do it? I've got a 3-step process that I think will help. But before that, if you want to learn how to have unstoppable confidence, I've got a 254 series where every day for 254 days, I send you a video for free to help you build your confidence. The link to join is in the description below.
They think that success is supposed to happen like that.
I have paid attention to my life because I understand that my life, just like your life, is always speaking to you. Your real work is to figure out where your power base is.
Okay, so how do you do it? How can you use comparing yourself to others as a force for good instead of a force for insecurity? I got a 3-step process. Let's do it. Step number 1 is think about who are 2 people who've done exactly what you want to do. Who are 2 people that you look up to? So if you want to be an interviewer, right, go look to Oprah Winfrey. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can look to Oprah Winfrey as well. You want to be a visionary? Hey, you can look to Oprah as well. You can look to Steve Jobs. But who are 2 people who've done exactly what you want to do? This is the thing that saved my first company. Was I asked myself, who has built a software company before? And I looked at Bill Gates and how he started Microsoft, and I modeled Bill Gates and applied that to my life, to my business, and that's what started helping the company take off. It wasn't that I looked at Bill Gates and said, look at everything he did at such a young age, and I'm already 3 years older than him, I suck. It's like, how did he do it? That's what he did? I'm gonna try it. It's working, amazing, right? Let's keep going. So who are 2 people who've done exactly what you wanna do? It doesn't mean you have to like them as people, but they've had success in the field that you're in. Learn from them. Step number 2, who is 1 additional person that you respect? So you got 2 people who are in the industry that you're in. Your 3rd person is gonna be 1 person that you respect who's not in your industry. So look up to Oprah, maybe me, maybe Steve Jobs, maybe Kanye, somebody who you love, you look up to, you respect who they are, what they've done, but they're not exactly in your field. There's still something that you can learn from them. Make that list of those 3 people. And then step number 3 is how can you model their success? Again, the idea isn't comparing yourself and how old you are to how old they were and how much money they had in the bank compared to what you've got now. That's not it. It's how can you model their success? Those 2 people who are in your industry, learn how they got started. It doesn't matter how they make extra money right now. Started 0 from 1, where you're at, your stage compared to where their stage was, and how did they get out of it? There's clues there. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. There's clues. Follow those clues that will lead to your success. And same thing for that person who you respect and you love and you look up to, even though they're not in your industry. You can learn a lot from their success. There's something about them, their character, the way they carry themselves, the things that they've done that you respect, that you can apply to your business. And often it's that person who's outside your industry that leads to the most growth, because now you're gonna be the first person who's done that specific thing in your industry. So the challenge today is to find those 3 people that you look up to, respect, have had success in areas that are in your industry and outside, and think about what are 3 different things that I can learn from these people and apply them to my business and life to start getting the success and momentum that I'm after. That's your challenge. Now go. Now I've got a really special bonus script that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, question of the day, I wanna know who are your 3 people? Who are the 3 people that you are gonna model and learn from their story, their origin story? Go back and research. Let me know, put it down in the comments below. And if you're still here watching, you made it this far in the video and you promised to take action after watching it. We don't just watch videos, we do something in our life about them. Give me a hashtag believe down in the comments below. I want to celebrate you.
Don't compare yourself. Most of the people you see on social media, or even in your personal life, or even when you go to lunch with them or see them at work, they're wearing what I would call a public mask. It's the best possible version that they can put out to themselves. And oftentimes what we do in life is we compare our real identity that we're working on and we're growing to their mask. And that's not fair to ourselves at all. Any comparison doesn't serve us. And it's oftentimes this comparison, when you're in a disagreement with somebody, it's the mask they're wearing compared to the identity you have, and then you begin to run a pattern to respond to it. It happens in fitness, in relationships, in money, and in business. Remember, you're in charge of controlling your own identity and growing your own identity and being aware of the patterns you have that do and do not serve you. not comparing yourself to someone else's public representative. It's just the representative they're putting out there. It's not who they really are. And it's not something that you need to be aware of because it's not something you can control. The more you can begin to delineate in life between things I can control and I cannot control would be to the extent that you're more productive and you're happier. You can control your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own identity, and your own patterns, not other people's.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.